Without a word, she snatched the baby from her arms and dangled him in the air, saying, "This child is a curse." She spat, her voice cutting like a whip. "The blood of his mother's people flows in his veins. He is no grandson of mine, because if he was, he wouldn't be crying like a weakling. Men from my bloodline are strong men like my son that you killed. If only Obi listened to me and married the woman that I chose for him, he would be here today. But he decided to fall in love with a witch like you, who killed him in his prime and is trying to force a bastard child down my throat. I, Madam Chi, will not sit back and watch your seed pollute my bloodline," she said to Olanma, who fell to her knees begging. "Please, Mama, my son is innocent. He is your son's blood. If there's anything I've done to warrant this level of anger, I am sorry, Mother. Please forgive me," Olanna said to Madam Chi, who flared up in anger as she dropped the baby to the ground like trash. "Let him taste pain early, because painful will be his life here on earth." Olanna watched in pain agony as her baby cried out in pain. Her heart broke to see how wickedly her husband's people treated her child. She screamed until her voice broke, clutching her son to her chest as she watched her mother-in-law walk away as if nothing had happened. Olanna from that day knew that her fight was not only against her sister-in-laws, but also against the venom of the matriarch herself. Her suffering deepened when they stole the only fine clothes that she owned, a dress that her husband Obi had given to her before his death. The only dress that Olanna wore whenever she wanted to feel close to her husband. The one thing that made her feel that her husband's presence still lingered in their lives. One morning, she found it gone, only to see Nkechi tearing it apart to make rags. Olanna cried out in pain as she began to speak. "Nkechi, that cloth is all I have left of my husband." But Nkechi laughed her in the face as she continued to tear the dress apart. Olanna watched as Nkechi used the dress to mop the dirt off the floor. She tossed it back to Olanna, who she told to get out of her sight. Olanna returned to her room and wept like a child. She held her son in her arms, thankful to have a child who not only brought comfort to her heart, but also gave her hope in the midst of all the chaos. One afternoon, whilst it was raining heavily, Madam Chi forced Olanna to go to the farm alone. Widowhood is no excuse for laziness. She barked as Olanna picked up her hoe and headed straight for the farm. She walked under the heavy rain, leaving her baby alone in her hut. Olanna prayed and hoped that her baby would be asleep. A few hours later, after walking under the rain for hours, Olanna returned to meet her hut empty. She searched everywhere for him, but her son was nowhere to be found. Olanna screamed out in pain. She rushed to her mother-in-law to ask about her child, but Madam Chi sneered at her and informed her that her child was dead. "How can God give a careless woman like you a child? You left him all alone to die, and now you are here blaming me for your carelessness," she said to Olanna, who stood there confused as she tried to understand what she was talking about. "My son cannot be dead," Olanna managed to whisper as Madam Chi pointed towards the tree outside her hut. "If you are looking for your cursed child, why don't you check under the tree and stop disturbing my ears with your useless cries?"